In this video, we're talking about the Manistee Justice Court. The Manistee Justice Court is a misdemeanor court. It's in Maricopa County in Arizona. We see a lot of people charged with crimes out of this particular court. And so today we're going to tell you more about the court's jurisdiction, the prosecutors who are in charge of prosecuting cases here, as well as the judge himself. So let's dive into it. So when I'm talking about a jurisdiction, what I'm talking about is the geographical boundaries over which this court has power. So you can see here in this map, we have the borders of this court highlighted in yellow, and then we have some of the major roadways, the major freeways that are passing through the court's jurisdiction highlighted in pink. So that means if you're charged with a crime and you're outside of this yellow border, you're not within this court's jurisdiction. So if you get a DUI, for example, and they cite you into Manistee, but it happened outside of this yellow boundary, you're in the wrong jurisdiction, and that's a good basis for a dismissal. The crimes that we see out of this court are predominantly going to be DUIs. They're going to be things like criminal speeding and other traffic offenses, and that's because the area within this court's boundaries are patrolled by DPS, the Department of Public Safety, and the Maricopa County Sheriff's officers. Those are the ones who are predominantly patrolling this area. If you're cited by a city police officer, you're going to go into a city court. This is a justice court, so it's within the county of Maricopa. And so, as I said, the freeways are the 60 and the I-17, so a lot of people are passing through that area, and we see these different types of crimes cited. Once you're cited and the case goes into court, who then is in charge of prosecuting the case against you? So who's working for the government actually prosecuting you? That's going to be the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. MCAO is what we call it. And MCAO is a very big agency. They cover all of Maricopa County, they cover 26 different justice courts, and they cover all of the felonies that are happening in Maricopa County. Those all go to a superior court. So it's a very big agency, and what that means practically is that they don't have a lot of discretion when you're dealing with a prosecutor out of this court. They don't have a lot of authority to make real substantive decisions unless they get approval from their boss. The reason why this is because they operate according to policies. They have procedures and policies that they follow because the agency is so big. So what happens is the bosses at the top will set their policies, and those will trickle down to all of the other prosecutors, including the prosecutors out of Manistee. So what does this mean for you if you've been charged with a crime, and if you want to go into court and you have this idea that you're going to be able to go in and talk to a prosecutor and say, hey, this is my first offense, I've never been in trouble before, and I'm asking for a deal, or I'm asking for you to dismiss my case. Reality is it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. The way that it works is they're going to look up your charge, they're going to look up your background, and they're going to say, according to our policies, this is the plea deal that you get, and unfortunately they're not very favorable in most cases. They're asking you to plead guilty to the charge. So I bring that up because it is important that you know that. If you think you're going to be going into court and asking for a reduction and it's just automatically going to go away, it's probably not going to work out in your favor that way. But we can help you get that accomplished. We can help you reach those goals, but you have to find substantive reasons. You have to find good legal problems. You have to be prepared and have the leverage involved to take your case to trial and really raise some issues. File motions to suppress, set your case for evidentiary hearings or oral arguments regarding a number of different issues. This is what it comes down to in order to get them to break those policies and deviate down. It's important that you understand how that works. Now, a little bit more about the judge. So Judge Donald Watts. Judge Watts is somebody who is not a licensed lawyer in Arizona. He is former law enforcement, actually. He was law enforcement for 23 years. He's somebody who was a detective, a SWAT team, a patrol officer individual. So he's been doing it for a very, very long time. He's been in law enforcement. And ordinarily that kind of gives pause when you're a defense lawyer, when you're saying, okay, this judge has an entire career prosecuting people. So is he going to be overly biased or overly harsh for a defense, for our clients, for our positions? Reality is no. So as I said, although Judge Watts is not a licensed attorney, he is somebody who is fairly reasonable in our opinion. He's somebody who is not a particularly bad judge. He's not overly biased one way or the other. He actually gives us the time of day. He'll listen to arguments. He does have a little bit of a police officer demeanor, so he's kind of formal and rigid, and he kind of has that presentation that you might expect from a police officer, so take that for what you want it to mean. But overall, we don't think that this judge is overly biased one way or the other. We think that he actually gives us a fair shake, and that's really all that you can ask for in a judge. A little bit more about this judge. He served in the U.S. Air Force or Air Reserves, Army Reserves, and the Air National Guard. And so he's somebody who has kind of a long history of being in the field, somebody who has a lot of activity. And so our recommendations when you go into this court is to make sure that you're dressed appropriately, make sure that you're prepared. You're not going to be meandering around through different thoughts. You're going to have your requests, your arguments focused, because this judge likes sort of that formality. He likes things to go by the book, things to be a little bit more rigid and a little bit more formal than some of the other judges. But that's how this court works. Again, it's the Manistee Justice Court. If you or somebody that you know or love has been charged with a crime out of Manistee and you'd like to speak with our team, give us a call. We offer free case evaluations. We'll sit down with you. We'll have you come in. We'll make sure you understand how this all works and how it applies to you specifically. And most importantly, make sure you have a plan to get through this and make this all go away as quickly as possible. So give us a call. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks for watching.